Welcome to my preview of the Duke's Mayo Bowl featuring North Carolina 6-6 going up against 6-6 South Carolina, 11:30 a.m. Thursday, December 30th on ESPN. Now, this is a North Carolina team that a lot of people had high expectations for going into this year. This is a North Carolina program coming to the third season. Under Mack Brown, his return to the school, so third season in the return of Mack Brown. A lot of improvements taken last year. Getting to 8-4 versus the season before that 7-6. Getting to 8-4. A lot of people were predicting, including myself, that North Carolina would be a team that would go and compete for an ACC championship game, and that didn't happen. Complete opposite. North Carolina having an extreme down year in this third season under Mack Brown, raising a lot of questions for this coaching staff. Now, South Carolina, a team that a lot of people didn't think we were going to even get to a bowl game. And this is a team that prior to the season starting, they had injury issues with their starting quarterback. They had to ask with their graduate assistant. So they had a graduate assistant on the team, a transfer from North Dakota or South Dakota State, I think it was North Dakota, transfer from North Dakota State who had come to the team. He had a year of eligibility left, but he wasn't there to play. He was there to go through grad school and to coach. He was going through the coaching pipeline. That's what he's going for and working towards. They had asked him to put the uniform back on and come and play for this team, and that is the guy who is going to be starting this bowl game. But despite everything, South Carolina, a team that a lot of people were projecting was only going to get to 3 or 5 wins this season, including myself, gets to bowl eligibility. So you kind of have two programs headed in different directions. Spencer Rattler now coming to South Carolina. We'll have to see which of these teams makes a statement here to say, okay, yeah, this is where we've been trending this season, but this is where we're going towards in the future. Bowl games for me are springboards into the next season. And so for this game, this is a start of 2022, in my mind at least, or start to these team seasons for 2022. And they want to start this off the right way so they can push into a good offseason and come in hard with the right mentality going into 2022. So let's look at this. North Carolina favored by 9.5 points, given a 69.8% chance of winning. But do not count the Gamecocks out yet. They have had a great season here. First year head coach for South Carolina coming in. Oh, sorry, I might be mistaken there. I believe it is first year head coach here for South Carolina. But regardless, like I said, a great job by South Carolina coming in and being able to accomplish what they were able to accomplish. Despite Shane Beamer first season here with South Carolina. So a lot of people, low expectations South Carolina coming under Shane Beamer. The future does look bright for South Carolina, especially with Spencer Rattler coming in next season. So again, this bowl game here, there is a series history between these two programs. They have met before. The series is run by North Carolina, 35-19. So 35 games won to 19 wins by South Carolina. So North Carolina owning the series. First ever game. This is one of those historic matchups or rivalries. Well, not so much rivalries, but North Carolina and South Carolina sharing a border there. But one of those historic games, or at least series, that has started from a long time ago. 1903, first game ever played, 17-0 win by North Carolina. And then they won or tied the next 11. South Carolina would get their first win in 1924, a 10-7 win by South Carolina, their first win in the series. And then North Carolina won the last matchup between these two programs in 2019. Of course, that was the first year that Mack Brown had come back to coach for North Carolina here. 24-20 win for North Carolina. So other than that, these teams have been very, very close over the years, and we're looking here at this record reviews. So these teams here coming into the season, like I said, a lot of high expectations for North Carolina, not so much for South Carolina. But for North Carolina, I was projecting 11-1. And that actually goes, Athlon Sports was also projecting a similar season. They were saying 10-2 is what they were projecting. Part of that was the fact that we thought North Carolina was going to take a big step forward. Part of it was also the schedule. It wasn't an incredibly difficult, or it shouldn't have been an incredibly difficult schedule for North Carolina. You look here, they play, Virginia Tech. That could be a questionable game. I thought that might be a close game. I actually had it marked here as a predicted loss on my preseason predictions. I didn't predict it the week before, but in my preseason previews, I said, that probably could be a loss there for North Carolina, and lo and behold, it was a loss. But then you look here, you don't really play anybody. Miami, okay, Notre Dame, yeah, after that, nobody unless NC State steps up. Well, those teams, the teams that weren't supposed to step up for the ACC, the good teams had down years. The not so good teams, or usual, kind of middle of the pack teams, had great years, and it was really, really kind of confusing season for the ACC. North Carolina ran up against a lot of tough competition, and there was a multitude of factors here. We're going to look at it here in a second, but everything leading to the 6-6 versus the high hopes coming to the season. Looking at South Carolina, complete opposite. I was projecting 3-9. Athlon Sports was projecting 5-7. So this was not a team that anybody had high expectations for coming into the year, and they went out despite all all of the I mean, this is a team that went 2-8 last season and 4-8 the year before that. So this is a team that has been in the dumps for a long time, despite everything coming forward and getting to a 6-6 season. We'll look at how that worked out. So for North Carolina, well, they started off with that loss to Virginia Tech. Like I said, a game that I actually predicted in my preseason previews, even if I chickened out in my top games of the week preview right before. I thought, okay, you know what? That's preseason speculation. I think North Carolina will be able to come and get this win. Well, Virginia Tech did pull off the upset there. Not a great start for Mac Brown in his third season, and it kind of got worse from there. I mean, they went 3-3 to start their first 6 games, losses to Georgia Tech and Florida State. Georgia Tech, a team that you definitely don't want to lose to, and Florida State, a team that has really gone off the rails. You don't want to lose either of those programs. Very, very embarrassing for North Carolina. And then they went 3-3 again, losses to Miami and Wake. Wins against Miami, Wake Forest, but losses to Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, and NC State. So they start off the season 3-3, and they ended the season 3-3. It's really kind of one of those seasons where, you know, they had some great wins here. Like I said, wins against Miami and Wake Forest. So Wake Forest, a really good team this year for the ACC. North Carolina managing to get a big win there, a high-scoring affair. And then they lose to the likes of Georgia Tech and Florida State. Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, and NC State to end the season there. Those were good teams that they were playing. So I think you're going to have to take this end of the season record with a grain of salt. Now, the way they started out, 3-3, lost against bad teams, that is not a great look. But at the end of the year here, their 3 losses were all against good teams. Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, NC State, all top 25 teams. Pittsburgh winning the ACC. So I think you look at that as a team that went, hey, they were able to get the big wins. They showed improvement. Even if the overall record here at 6-6 didn't show that improvement, I think that underneath all of that surface level perspective, this is a North Carolina team that has gotten better as the season has progressed. Looking at South Carolina, the great thing for them is they don't really have any bad losses on their schedule. You know, they lost the games that you would expect them to lose, but they weren't really bad. All bowl-eligible teams. Every single one that they lost to were all bowl-eligible Power 5 teams for South Carolina. They won against the teams you wouldn't expect them to win against. I mean, they had wins against Florida and Auburn. When's the last time South Carolina can say that? Wins against Florida and Auburn. The worst, you know, kind of more typical of what we've seen in South Carolina the last few years moment was a 21-20 win against Vanderbilt where they struggled, but they got the W. That's what matters. So this is a South Carolina team that played a very, very tough schedule out of the SEC, top conference in college football, a very, very tough schedule, and came out of it with a 6-6 record, showing massive improvement. And that was before even Spencer Rattler has gotten to this program. I cannot imagine the steps they'll be able to take forward next season. I think that I'm not saying South Carolina's going to win the SEC. I'm not saying that, but I think it's going to be a South Carolina team that starts, because I used to live in South Carolina, and when I lived there, that was back when South Carolina was always beating Clemson. South Carolina was one of those top 25, top 20, or top 15 teams. That's the South Carolina I remember, and of course they have gone way off the rails in recent history, but I think they might start taking those steps back towards getting to those teams that is in the top 25 on a routine basis and pushing for those big bowl games, not just excited to get bowl eligible as they are this season. So looking at top players for these programs, for North Carolina, it's going to be the quarterback Sam Howell. Now, I thought he was going to have an amazing year. I thought he was going to be the best quarterback. I was projecting that he'd be the best quarterback in the ACC. It hasn't turned out that way, partially because there's been some really good quarterbacks out of the ACC this year. Thinking about NC State quarterback, thinking about the Wake Forest quarterbacks, and their names escape me right now off the top of my head. But those quarterbacks have had great seasons, and Sam Howell here, while he's had a pretty good year, 2,851 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, it has been subpar for him, and that has impacted this team. I mean, it's the first time in his career, he's been playing for 3 seasons now, the first time in his career that he has thrown for less than 3,000 yards. So the previous 2 seasons, he threw for over 3,000 yards. This season, he doesn't get there. And that, I mean, there's other factors. It's not just him. I mean, he has been sacked 44 times, second most sacked quarterback in NCAA FBS level. So I think a lot of issues have been the offensive line, the play calling, the receivers. I mean, it's not just him, but he has had a bit of a down year. Despite all that, he is the best quarterback, best player here for North Carolina. For South Carolina, they don't have a ton of players that pop off the board at you. It's incredible the way they've been able to get to the 6-6 record by just really kind of grinding it out, getting those upset wins, playing total team offense and defense. But if you're going to talk about one specific player, it's going to be defensive back Jalen Foster. 90 tackles, leads the team, 2 sacks, 2 passes defended, 5 interceptions, leads the team in that category as well, and 2 forced fumbles. This is their defensive heart and soul. This is the guy that the defense is really shaped around, the playmaker, the go-getter. South Carolina has relied on them, and they've won a lot of their games through their defense, allowing their offense to get into the game as they've moved along. So it's keys to the game for both these programs. So for North Carolina, don't let the record dishearten you. Like I said, you're 6-6, but I think that record, that 3-3 to end the season, was impacted by the type of caliber teams that you played. Even if North Carolina had started off with a great season, even if they were undefeated coming into that stretch and were having the season that we were projecting they would have, I think that they may still have ended with 3 losses at the end of the year. They would have just been sitting at 9-3 versus 6-6, because those are really tough, good programs that they ended up facing. So you have gotten better. Don't let the record dishearten you. I wouldn't say that North Carolina is equal to South Carolina here, even though these are two teams that are sitting at 6-6, 6-6 records. Come in, play with confidence, play like you're the better team. A lot of these times it just comes down to confidence levels, the type of plays you call, whether you have trust and confidence in this offense or your defense, whatever you're calling. Whatever you're calling, make sure you call it in the way that you think you're going to be able to go out and execute. Make the calls in a way that you think you're the better team. You're going to be able to show up and make these plays. You're not in desperation mode here. You don't have to pull into your bag of tricks. Go out and run your routine offense and your routine defense. I think you're going to find success in this one. For South Carolina, just go have fun. You are the undermatched team in this one. You're a team that nobody expected to get to this point. They really didn't, but you're here. So go have fun. You don't have your leading quarterback. Your grad assistant is out there, Zeb Nolan, playing in his final year here of eligibility, I believe. He's played 4 years before this in his 5th year. I think the COVID year might give him one more year. I'm not entirely sure how that works there. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be Spencer Rattler coming in. He's not competing for the job. He'll be back on the sideline. So this is your last game. That's inconceivable happens. This is your last game. Go out there, the whole team as a whole. No one has any expectations for you in this one. You're playing the Duke Mayo Bowl, which all bowl games are important to me, but there's not a ton on the line stake-wise in this one. So just go out and have a blast. Go out, throw out the trick plays. Go out there and prove that you're a team that has turned the corner and moving forward, because the future is truly bright for this program. So just go launch yourself into 2022 in the right way. Win or lose, just go have a blast. Go have fun. That's what this is all about. And I think, honestly, going out and playing that way might get South Carolina the win in this one, because if they don't have the pressure on them, they're going to have the ability to maybe pull out some more of those riskier decision plays. That high risk, high reward could turn out with some high reward opportunities for South Carolina. And remember, you're a team that's been able to beat good programs in Florida and Auburn, and I think that North Carolina is at least on the same level as Florida and Auburn this season. So you already got wins against good teams. You can get one here. Go out and have a blast. So my prediction in this one is that I think that North Carolina handles an upstart South Carolina team, but not in a dominant manner. I think North Carolina goes out and gets this win, as long as they're not underestimating South Carolina. Don't underestimate them. They are a capable team in this one. But as long as they come in prepared, as long as they do the things they need to do and come in and play like the team that they've proven they are at the end of the season, with some close games against some good opponents and some wins against some good teams. As long as they play that way, I think they're going to have the win in this one. But I think it's going to be a very, very fun bowl game to watch. I really can't wait to see Zeb Nolan out here, the grad assistant. I mean, that's just an incredible story. That's the kind of thing that you see on ESPN Plus. That's the kind of thing that you see on 30 for 30. So I hope that this Zeb Nolan ends his season in a great way. I don't think it's going to be with a win, but I think nonetheless it's a great story and a great season here for the Gamecocks. So excited. I'll be rooting for South Carolina, because I always root for the underdogs. I love that. But either way, I think it's going to be a great game, and I can't wait to see what happens. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe. I'm previewing every single bowl game this season. In fact, tonight I'm finishing it off. I'm previewing every game I haven't previewed yet. I'm going to put it in my playlist. I'll put that link in the description. Make sure, again, like I said, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. As always, go Big Blue!